A familiar event at a brand new venue, our nation's capital, hosting the DC Paradise Jam presented by the U.S. Virgin Islands. Belmont and Howard tip things off, followed by George Mason and D2 Power Queens of North Carolina. Howdy Hoops fans, Jeremy Huber here with Chris Nockey. Chris, any basketball right now is good basketball. So glad to see these teams getting out there.
Yeah, and I can tell you that at the end of this night, the one thing in common that the coaches will say is that they enjoyed playing these games and having this opportunity to get out, finally play against somebody else.
And some teams to watch today. Again, some national focus on some of these squads. Let's jump right into it. Go ahead to our players to watch. We start off with the Belmont Bruins, and their first player to watch, it's one of their guards. It's Grayson Murphy.
Yeah, he's a tough kid. Look at that, 7.5 rebounds, over 6 assists per game. Does a lot of the dirty work for this team. Tough. He rarely comes off the court for this team, Belmont. He's got a host of players around him, some of whom, unfortunately, weren't able to make this trip.
Let's jump to our second player to watch. It's their big man. You've seen him before, Nick Mazinski.
Yeah, he's terrific. He's coming off a very good year. Lefty, a little ungainly on the inside. He backs down from nobody. Scores with both hands. He's going to be a problem for Howard tonight.
Yeah, it's got a lot of offense, a lot of everything. Let's switch it over to Howard. They've got some good things to talk about for their team. We start with the biggest of them all, actually the smallest of them all. It's Khalil Robinson, the point guard.
Yeah, and they're down a couple of guys, including a couple of guards. So Khalil Robinson becomes very important in a game like this, and they're going to need his direction against a really talented Belmont team. Robinson coming off a pretty decent year. They're without Wayne Bristol Jr., who was the MEAC Player of the Year last year.
Robinson got to distribute the ball. So this guy will be getting a lot of it, Makur Maker.
Well, a lot of hype about this guy. The bar is set almost impossibly high for him. A 5-star recruit, guy nationally known recruit. He said no to Duke. He said no to Kentucky. He said no to UCLA. A lot is riding on his shoulders.
Take a look at our keys to the game in this one. We start off with Belmont. What do they have to do to be a win? They're brought to you by Mountain Dew.
Yeah, and both of these teams really have the issue where they're trying to build chemistry. New guys, incorporating new guys. Murphy and Muzinski have to be the best players on the floor. Very simple. Belmont has made a living from the three-point line. They shoot it well. They spread the floor nicely.
Over to our keys to the game for Howard, the Bison's problems here.
Well, again, you've got to integrate a great star into your program and Maker. Keep the ball moving. You also have to protect the paint. Muzinski is a problem, and you've got to really negate what he does.
And time for tip-off here at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center, deep in the hearts of Washington, D.C. It's time to get this basketball season underway for these two teams. Belmont, a squad who is a perennial tournament team. Howard, a squad, Chris, that's looking to get there.
Belmont's been to the tournament or qualified for the tournament 3 of the last 4 years. How about this, Jeremy? 251 wins over the last 10 years for this program. Howard coming off a 4-win season, yet both these teams find themselves in a situation where they're trying to figure it out with a lot of new faces.
Mazinski and Maker to jump this one up. Belmont in the navy blue, Howard in the white today. We are underway here in D.C. as Belmont controls. Shot up from the corner, that's off the mark, but put back up and in by Hollander's starting lineup there. Of course, Luke Smith, one of the interesting stories, a former D3 player, Chris.
Yeah, Casey Alexander, the Belmont coach, says he looks like a D3 player but plays like a D1 player. He had confidence enough to take that first shot on the first possession for Belmont.
Starting 5 for Howard, Sam Green, another transfer from Drexel.
And Green is important because this is a team with 9 new players, and you need some sort of veteran stability, and he does that for you as a grad transfer who played some Division I basketball at Drexel. How about Maker getting on the board early?
And doing it down low, that's the question. How much, because of that immense skill set he has, how much will he play inside and out? Shot up from the outside, no good. Maker with the board.
He can take it coast to coast. Great handle for a guy with this size.
Kicked over, though, down to Maker on the block. Over top Muzinski and knocks it down. Makur Maker.
That is his game, that face-up 15, 16-footer. Smooth.
So talented. Muzinski trying to take him down on the block. Maker posting up well and a steal. Alley-oop and two. Howard playing some great ball. Settle put that away off the dish from Foster.
Nicely done there on the break. And Kenny Blakeney wants to play with pace, trying to get his guys to push on every possession.
Hollander thought about it. Now kicks it off. Muzinski, a little teardrop in down low, no good, but Hollander's there for the board. Smith, runner. Will go down.
That thing hit every part of the rim.
We talked about it. Confidence, a D3 player, but Luke Smith is a guy who scored a lot at the University of the South. Goes a little bit across the state, finds a new home at Belmont.
And also, second shots kill you. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, what level, second shots will be your ruin.
Outside three, no good off the mark, but tracked down by Robinson.
Second opportunity here for Howard.
Foster off the Maker, down low, nice move in the paint.
How about how long those arms are? Great finish against a large guy.
Kick out Wood, thought about the three, pulls up for the long two, count it.
I have a feeling Belmont will find a rhythm in this game. Howard has come out with a lot of energy. Well, nothing really riles Belmont.
Drive to the bucket, up and no good, off the mark for Settle. Howard with a 2-point lead. Muzinski trying to erase it. He cannot. A rebound by Howard.
Looks like Maker has already forced Muzinski to give up one possession inside and send it back out to the three-point line.
That's off the mark by Foster. Belmont looking for the tie again. Wood down the lane. Might have got away with a step, but gets it to go. Looking for the and one.
That's that Euro. The officials are struggling to kind of figure out what's a walk and what isn't. It's a semi-Euro. Kind of a Canadian is what that was, I think.
Maker from distance. Off the mark.
Heat check maybe, Jeremy?
That's definitely in his arsenal, and that'll be a foul out on the perimeter.
So you talked about the last possession perhaps being a walk. That looked like a palm to me on that hesitation move by Wood, and yet you rarely get that call.
Will Robinson with the foul, his first. A little bit of a hockey line change for Howard. They've got a lot of depth.
Except Maker stays. You're going to put 4 new players in. You know who your meal ticket is.
On the other side of things, Belmont traveled with just 10 players, some key guys unavailable today, so a little maybe less on the subbing. Murphy for 3, no good. Isaac suffering, wearing the pink shoes today. Richmond kicks it back out. Weaver thought about it, down low. Here's Maker.
Good seal.
And loses on the way up, but he'll be fouled, and that'll take us to a media timeout. Makur Maker will have a chance to put 2 more in the scorebook for himself. With Howard with the actually tied up 8-8 here in your nation's capital at the DC Paradise Jam presented by the United States Virgin Islands.
Queso burger.
Seeing some of the sights of our nation's capital. A lovely day, actually, after some cold ones as of late. It was a nice out today, and it's a nice matchup. Howard and Belmont all tied up at 8. Your early thoughts on this one, Chris?
Kind of what we expected. You know, Howard getting out, playing the fast break, running the fast break, doing a nice job with that. Belmont seems to have weathered the storm a little bit, but you got a whole host of subs in for both teams, and I think this will be the difference in this game as to how the guys play off the bench. Howard would appear, at least on paper, to be significantly deeper than Belmont is with the attrition and the Belmont guys who did not make the trip.
Maker knocks down the free throw, now his 7th point of the game.
Got about that, though? That's string music right there, Jeremy. That is a 6'11" bundle of talent, and he just feathery, soft touch. As I said, he misses. Never fails.
Here's Smith. Howard does a good job to get back on defense. 3 is off the mark by Murphy. Here comes Howard. Weaver between the legs. Now down the lane looking for a friendly. Puts off the shot. No good.
It's a small Belmont group out there right now. Going to have to rebound with Howard.
Offensive foul as Weaver gets in the way of Wood and draws the whistle.
That is a terrific defensive play by Weaver. Beat his man to the spot, took one for the team.
So a shot of Kenny Blakeney there. I believe he may be the first basketball coach I've ever seen wearing a baseball cap.
Well, I got to tell you, there are 2 things I hope stays with this game post-COVID. And one is the way coaches are dressing now. The other thing is the handshake line has to go. It should have gone a long time ago. I hope those things do stay after COVID is gone.
And folks, Chris Nockey, very old school. Long time an American, both coaches and a player. Alley-oop looking for Maker. That's off the mark, but good job to track it down. Richmond, but a shot clock violation.
You have a really young Howard group out there. I mean, you got it. Somebody has to take control of that possession and, call out. They've probably got a half dozen set plays for the last 5 or 6 seconds. Quick hitters, got to have them.
Blakeney was telling us when we talked to him during the week that he's kind of trying to model his team after the 1970s Georgetown. He's got the towel of the late John Thompson sported proudly. That's a shot up and rattles home for Jacoby Wood.
That's big. They've had some open looks from 3, just have not been able to get him down. This is a team that averaged 80 points a game last year, shot 35% from the 3.
Offensive foul on Howard. That should be an illegal screen. And it will be.
That's on Cam Timmons. And when he sets a screen, it's more like an eclipse. And that is a big, huge man right there. That 3-pointer rattles in, and that's a good sign for Wood and for this entire team.
Wood, the type of guy that Belmont doesn't always get with Mr. Basketball in Tennessee at his level. A little maybe undersized, but a lot of talent there.
If Belmont just continues to win and get it done on a mid-major Division I level, well, that's a nice move. Just can't get it to go down.
And stolen away by Wood as the shot block dishes it back off. Shot blocked again by Timmons.
I'm not sure Timmons left his feet.
And that be knocked away or thrown away. Officials say it is thrown away and will be Belmont ball.
And no argument from Timmons right there, but Timmons made a heck of a defensive play with a block.
Here's again, Chris.
Yep. That's a nice play. Good timing.
Come to Cam Timmons block party. Maybe after COVID's done, folks.
I expected the finger wag, the Dikembe finger wag.
Brzezinski on the block, has it blocked by Maker.
Man, take that weak stuff home. That is a nice play. Thon Maker. A nice movement without the ball, too, by Howard.
Richmond puts it away. Howard looking like a completely different team, and that will be thrown away. And Kenny Blakeney, he's jazzed up as his Bison have come to play.
And Muzinski's kind of got Thon Maker rent space in his head right there. Thon Maker. Makur Maker. Thon, of course, would be his cousin. And Muzinski going to take a little rest on the pine, and it's a good sub right here by Casey Alexander. Muzinski not himself right now.
Maker remains out there.
Yeah, I don't believe he's come out just yet.
Now, obviously, that's going to be a little bit of a learning process throughout the year for Kenny Blakeney to figure out how much his big man can play. Obviously, changes so much.
Jeremy, let's be honest. He could be here for a cup of coffee, so you might as well play him. And Howard moves so well without the ball. Richmond, backdoor cut right there, and this is something they work on every day in practice.
Of course, Blakeney played for Mike Krzyzewski at Duke. So going to be some elements of that there, that movement with the basketball.
Oh, he's been taught by the best.
Murphy lines one up, and he gets it to fall.
He's had 3 clean looks from the three-point line. That's either good offense or, I mean, maybe they're giving him space out there. Did not shoot the 3 particularly well last year.
Outside shot is off the mark, batted around, and Murphy comes away with it. Murphy, we talked about, not the best of scorers, but he does everything so well. The rebounds, the assists, so high numbers for Grayson Murphy. Saban kicks it out, finds Hollander, off the mark, fought for, and a foul be called down low on Timmons. So going to the line for Belmont will be E.J. Bellinger. And right now, Belmont coming their way as they lead by 1 over Howard.
Calling out to me.
That one knocked down by Howard's Raheem Ali Jr., guy who's serving as the backup point guard. Excuse me, Belmont. That's E.J. Bellinger. My apologies.
Silky smooth free throws right there, and Belmont seems to just find a way here. They found a rhythm in this game. They're rebounding really well against the taller Howard team right now.
Belmont with the three-point lead, though it seems like Howard's kind of dominated gameplay, but you look up and the Bruins with the advantage. Down the lane and cut it to 1. Great shot by Robinson.
It took his time. That's a good offensive set. Really nice patience on that possession.
Belmont lead down to 1. Bellinger tees up the 3. Can't get it to go. Maker out of the game for Howard, getting the blow.
Not for long, I'm sure.
Timmons. And back Saban down. He'll kick it out. 10 on the shot clock. They find him. Has the shot blocked as Hollander comes in. And it will be Belmont ball.
Well, Settle made a really nice drop-down pass or pocket pass on that bounce pass. Timmons is out there, kind of played block to block, and unfortunately just couldn't get the possession finished down there. That's a pretty nice look in the last 10 seconds of the possession. Let's see if Muzinski back in here doesn't find his way a little bit in this game.
Wood takes it down the baseline, kicks it back out, finds Smith. Good movement by Belmont. Hollander trying to find Muzinski down low, but he'll throw it away and commit the foul.
Well, Timmons has made a difference defensively. He struggled a little bit offensively, but that's a nice play. Belmont had that classic penetrate and pitch game going, and looked like they were looking to find Muzinski down there on the block. Timmons negated the whole thing. Well done.
And it seemed like in our conversations with Kenny Blakeney in some preseason, Timmons trying to find his role on this team. He maybe plays faster than his normal pace.
Yeah, I mean, he's not suited to the way necessarily that Howard wants to play, but you can find a role for a guy 10 or 12 minutes for sure. I mean, his defense warrants it right now.
Off the mark, Howard sets the shot clock back to 20 off the offensive board. That well off the mark by Green. Muzinski, he'll tee up the long 3. Nats will not get the roll. Pitch down low, and a bucket for Belmont as Hollander found by Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy doing the dirty work. How about that? Getting the rebound and the assist. Clever little pass.
Talked about it before. Almost 7.5 rebounds last year. Over 6 assists behind the back. And Muzinski will finish off the feed from Smith.
Highlights at 11 right there. That is sweet. Oh, 3-man weave on the way down. Well done. And Muzinski, there's so many big guys who can't catch and finish like that in traffic. Another steal.
Murphy takes it in, and Belmont on a run.
And a timeout here for Howard, sure. And the turnovers, man, that'll be just the death of you. And you don't even get opportunities to take a shot. I gotta believe Maker will come back into this game here very shortly.
Yeah, they've looked like a different squad. Here's the replay on that, and here that nice ball sharing, and behind the back, Mazinski with the finish.
How sweet is that? Really well done. A couple of veteran guys, and actually all three veteran guys when you think about the fact that, Luke Smith has played a lot of college basketball, just not at this level, but he certainly looks like he belongs out here in the early going.
Smith is such an interesting story. We mentioned it before. He played for the University of the South, took them to their first NCAA tournament berth since 1998. This was 2 years back. So again, it had been a while for them, and steps up a level to Belmont. And Casey Alexander told us, he said, look, he looks like a D3 kid, but he plays like he's D1. That's why he's here.
I always think that there are really hundreds of, if not thousands, of really cool stories in Division I basketball that unfortunately never get the notice that the notorious stories do. There are a lot of guys who are playing this game for the right reasons and doing it through a various number of obstacles. And
baseline shot off the mark, and right now Howard can't buy a bucket.
Settle's struggling out there. He is an offensive talent, just can't seem to find his way right now. And Howard has hit a wall on that end of the floor.
Down low, and a foul will be called, as it was Jackie Bisek. Excuse me. It was Bellinger on the drive.
I think they gave that foul to Green. Well, and Belmont has just really asserted themselves offensively, and it's really everybody out there. Certainly Murphy's spearheaded a bunch of this, but he's had a lot of help.
That was Green's foul, his first. 3 team fouls on each team. Now Belmont with a 9-point lead. That's Evan Braun's into the game. So we saw the hockey line changes for Howard. Belmont going a little more piecemeal, but still getting a lot of guys in the game.
I think most coaches, if they had a guy like Mazinski, would be playing him like 30, 32 minutes a game. But actually, his numbers tell you he's at 25, 26. And maybe he's just a better player at that, playing that many minutes.
Baker has his pocket picked by Wood. Up to Smith. Pass down low, and it will go down as Maker went for the block, but Jackie Bisek put it away.
Again, a lot of shots wherever they want them, and especially around the basket. That defensive shot chart for Howard is not going to be pretty.
Long range off the mark for Foster. Fought for, still loose, knocked ahead, and Howard comes away with it. Shot blocked down low. Maker in the scrum for it. We'll have a timeout called by Belmont.
Luke Smith hit the floor and grabbed that.
That gets us to our timeout. Belmont leading by 11 here in Washington, D.C. Back here in Washington, D.C. at the D.C. Paradise Jam presented by the U.S. Virgin Islands. Of course, this game, it's normal 5 p.m. Eastern time. We were supposed to have a game before it, Chris. It was George Mason and newly added Queens, the D2 power out of North Carolina. That one had to be moved back because there was some COVID testing. They had thought maybe a positive test, so they went ahead and pushed it back just on the safety side, and a good move by the tournament organizer.
Yeah, if 2020 has taught us anything, it's the need to be able to pivot and to pivot decisively. And they did just that. That game will follow this one, and looking forward to that. And how about Howard coming out of that timeout? Kenny Blakeney decides to change things up. Full court pressure leads to an early Belmont shot and a foul on the rebound. So he already got what he wanted out of that pressure. Belmont took an ill-advised shot.
Bronze picked it up. A freshman from Iowa. Three-pointer is good on the mark for Sam Green.
All of their big guys can shoot threes. They got good size.
Wood answers.
No communication defensively at all. Kyle Foster let his man get a wide open look. I'm not sure if that was Foster's guy. I think Kenny Blakeney wanted these guys to change defenses. They were trying to line up in a zone. Belmont got the early look wide open.
Looking at this early on, two stars in this one. Grayson Murphy, the guard, and Makur Maker, the big man.
Well, rebounding is a big part of this game to me. I mean, it's a 15-11 advantage right now for Belmont. That surprises me. And a big part of that is what Grayson Murphy is doing. 7 boards this early in the game. And, Makur Maker, he has not disappointed at all. Got off to a terrific start. Has slowed a little bit, and it's like the Belmont is doing a really good job gapping him. As he puts the ball to the floor, he's getting an awful lot of attention.
Jacoby Woods got 10 so far. You see him on the screen. Has found the range from the outside.
Small Belmont team out here right now.
See if the Bison can take advantage. Suffering over to Maker. Long range, no good.
I think they're going to give him that shot all day. Until he proves that he can knock it down regularly, they're going to lay off of him.
Jackie B set for 3. Maker is there for the board. Weaver. And Howard just 4 wins on the season last year. They're looking to improve on that mark, and most would say that they shall.
Oh, they will.
And this time, strong move in. Suffering takes into the trees and able to pick up the foul.
I think that last year, if my memory serves me correctly, Jeremy, I think Western Carolina had the biggest turnaround in Division I, 12 wins from the year before. Howard, to me, depending upon how many games they actually get a chance to play, Howard could be in that double-digit territory with the talent they've got.
Shot knocked down by Suffering. That foul on Bellinger, his first. There you see Kenny Blakeney trying to get his team back into this one, down by 10. Fought for. Green comes away with it, but throws it away as Smith on the spot.
As he usually is.
Smith takes it in strong.
6-footer, fearless 6-footer. He must have been a nightmare in Division III. Illegal screen by Maker. Easy whistle there. If you're going to do that dribble handoff, and everybody's doing it in this day and age, you got to be really careful about moving, at the point of the handoff. Officials' point of emphasis every year is to make sure there's no moving screen on that handoff.
The call you see so much, especially early in the year when everyone's still kind of ironing out what they're doing.
Yep.
Run away as Howard looks to cut it back down, maybe to single digits. Nice move by Weaver.
He's played well. He has done a nice job.
Weaver, another local kid that they've really tried to hit hard. Jack Ubisek puts it down, and they'll have a chance for a 3-point play.
Howard has not done a good job with these straight line drives. And I think, a couple of possessions ago, I mentioned that Howard looked like they were trying to change defenses a little bit. Nice finish in there in traffic. Looked like Howard was trying to change defenses a few possessions ago, and it seems counterintuitive to play zone against a good 3-point shooting team. But the more important part of this, Jeremy, is to change the direction of the game. Even if you're only doing it for 3 or 4 possessions, it might be something that gives your team a little bit of a little bit of lift. And right now, Belmont's scoring really easily, 34 points with 5 minutes to play. I mean, they're looking at 45, 50 points for the half. That's too many if you're on that Howard bench.
Uzinski back in. Green picks up his second foul for Howard. Something to watch. Down to Maker. 3-pointer up. Suffering hits it.
That's a good sign right there. Now you got to get it done here on defense. Too easy.
Wood, a few long shots, take it in, now kick it back out. Smith, deep three, doesn't go. Saban's there for the board, tries to go up and under and gets it to go.
And they're hammering Howard on the backboards right now. It feels like a bigger advantage than the 18-13 that currently exists.
Maker goes for the feed, and it'll be off the hands of Wood, stays for the Bison.
That's great collective team defense there. Maker puts the ball on the floor, and there are 3 Belmont players getting to the paint, forcing him to give that ball up. And Belmont has done a really nice job adjusting to Maker. Early on, he got his way around the basket a little bit. They've done a very good job of figuring his game out to this point.
Green in there with 2 fouls, misses the shot. Saban comes down with the board. Yeah, Chris, it looked like this was going to be a 30-point night, and it still could be for Maker, but the way he started, wow.
Yeah.
Brzezinski gets it to go, the tender touch around the hoop.
Yeah, that's not a good matchup with Green in there on him, but I think, again, Blakeney trying to do something a little bit different here, playing small ball. Green is the 5.
14-point lead for Belmont, now taken away Smith, and he'll try and slam it, and they'll call the foul on Thomas Weaver, and that'll take us to a timeout. Belmont, everything going their way right now. They're up by 14 in our nation's capital.
Watching this reminds me of
St. Croix, and experience a vibe like no other.
Some wonderful images of the U.S. Virgin Islands, and of course, Belmont playing some wonderful basketball right now, up by 14 as Smith looks to add on to it.
They're missing 3 critical players, Mitch Listow, Michael Shanks, Ben Shepard, one of their best players, 30-minute-a-game guy. And these other guys, Jeremy, have seized the opportunity. They have done really well, and they've done it with Muzinski, just the one bucket we just had just a couple of minutes ago. All these guys have contributed, given the opportunity.
A huge day already for the freshman Jacoby Wood. 10 points in his first game as a Bruin. We didn't get as deep into the recruiting of Mr. Wood as we would have liked, but again, anytime you got Mr. Basketball and he doesn't end up at one of the bigger schools in the state of Tennessee, you feel like you got a coup there.
Absolutely.
Knocked away, and that will stay with the Bruins. Just under 3 minutes to go in our opening half of our opening game here at the DC Paradise Jam, presented by the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Another clean look from 3. See if Maker can do something in transition here. He was picked up early.
And foul be called up top on Wood.
That's a silly foul, too, because you're playing great team defense. You've been able to gap these guys really successfully, and I think fatigue kind of rears its ugly head right there where you extend your arms and get a hand check call. For the most part, Belmont's defense has been outstanding. Just 24 points for Howard. And considering this is your debut, I'm sure that Casey Alexander is excited about what he's seeing right now.
Corner 3 is rounded out, no good. Rebound, put back up and in. That's Raheem Ali.
Well done here. He's giving his team a spark. Done his job off the bench, backup point guard.
We want to point that out. We were just given word that Raheem Ali now wearing number 1, while Weaver wears number 13. Again, early season, got to get those uniform numbers right.
You know what? It's the first game for a lot of people.
It is.
That includes the officials. You know, you think about the officials here, Jeremy. These guys normally by this time will have worked a handful of inter-squad scrimmages. They'd be in tip-top shape, but I mean, it's the first game for them too.
I think they're doing a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, they are.
So that'll take the shot clock down to 20.
It's a reset on the kick. It was at 17, I think, when they were initially inbounding the ball.
Murphy working on Ali. Now Bellinger tries to drive, has it blocked. He stays with the Bruins. 12 seconds to go on the shot clock. You see Makur Maker off to the torrid start in this one. Hasn't been able to find the range since. Zinsky, late shot clock. Can't get it to go, but the follow is there by Bellinger.
His man didn't block him off. I think that's Foster's man, and you make sure you, as well as Belmont, is rebounding. You have to batten down the hatches down there on that end of the floor.
90 seconds to go in our opening half. Kick back out. Settle has it stripped on the way up, but he'll be fouled and will shoot two.
I think this guy's going to be a really good player. He has not played well to this point, but Steve Settle is one of those really talented offensive players. Went to DeMatha, grew 1 foot in the 4 years he was in high school at DeMatha. And one of the things that DeMatha head coach Mike Jones told Kenny Blakeney was this guy is a terrific one-on-one player. Great offensive skill. The problem is, you can see it. I mean, he is a slight young man. They have him listed at 181. He must have had a heck of a pregame meal if he's 181. I'm not seeing that. He just needs to get thicker, and with that he'll become more assertive.
He knocks down one of two. That foul was on Bellinger, his second. Belmont looking to add on to their lead. Smith all the way down Broadway, and Maker can't fend it off.
Man, he's a player.
We talked about it. It says looks like D3, plays like D1. He's been just that good. Settle has it taken away. This time it's Murphy. And we'll have the shot blocked, but a goaltend will be called. Put another 2 on the board for the Bruins.
Yeah, that points on turnovers is one of those stats that just continues to add up here. And Howard played so well in the first 8 or 9 minutes of this game. Pretty much a stalemate at that point. They started to turn the ball over. This changed in a hurry.
In the lane, no good for Ali. Knocked around. And Belmont gets it back. Can't run the shot clock all the way down. Bruins under 10. They'll look inside. Mazinski, nice catch in the flush.
Great set. That is a really well done set play.
And Howard will not get off a shot to end the half, and Belmont goes on a run, and they have a big lead going into halftime. We'll be back with more from DC right after this.
We can give you the mode to vibe out. Turn on tip-off mode to get game ready with uninterrupted radio on Pandora.
Wonderful image of the Washington Monument, the Capitol in the distance. And right now, Belmont enjoying their time in our nation's capital with the 48-27 lead here at the half. Jeremy Huber, Chris Nocky back with you. And now time to take a look at our first half highlights in this contest. And again, early on, it was Howard getting it going, and then it was Belmont really taking it to the Bison.
Well, I mean, you see Maker making a 15-footer right there. He got off to a fast start, 4 quick points, and Howard got out on the break a little bit. Really, Belmont was able to weather the storm and Howard's energy early on. And once this game slowed down a little bit, see Maker getting himself to the rim right there. And once this game, once they found a rhythm, Belmont, they really executed on both ends. I mean, the last 10 or 12 minutes was a clinic on both sides of the floor. And the disheartening thing, I think, for Howard was it wasn't just the Belmont Stars that were playing well. It was a lot of support guys, but the point has to be made. A lot of those support guys are guys who've played a lot of college basketball, so Howard still has they have 9 new players. Most of them are freshmen, guys who have not been out here under the lights like this. So Belmont played like the more experienced team, much more poised.
And if they did, 10-6 turnover advantage for Belmont. And again, plays like that really got them some extra points.
Yeah, and the 10-6 advantage, that's the highlight of the half right there. But the 10-6 advantage doesn't speak really to the points off turnovers. I thought they turned those turnovers into gold. Belmont did, and that's what good teams will do. They'll make you pay.
Again, just sharing the basketball, it's been good. And that's another one. Jackie Bisek came out, I believe, had his own little 5-point mini run at one point, just someone else coming in and getting the job done.
Yeah, these guys have taken advantage of their opportunity with 3 important Bruin players staying at home in Nashville. These guys have stepped up. Looks like there are 9 guys actually on that Belmont team in total. And every one of them has played significant minutes and has played well.
And Casey Alexander kind of sprinkling those guys in, but when they've been called upon, play like that, Saban comes off the bench and makes a big play.
Well, the big stunning stat to me is what Belmont has been able to do on the boards against that Howard size, and kind of speaks to the fact that rebounding is about 10% technique and about 90% wanting it. You see another offensive rebound there, and it seemed like Belmont just got all sorts of opportunities. Easy drive to the hoop right there, and that is Luke Smith, who has done such a good job in this half. And that last set play for the big moose inside, that was a thing of beauty.
Brzezinski again getting it done, as is Belmont, as they lead 48-26 at the half here in D.C. Welcome back to our nation's capital, the Walter E. Washington Convention Center, the D.C. Paradise Jam presented by the U.S. Virgin Islands. And Belmont right now with the 48-26 lead, as the Bruins really took it to the Bison to close out that half.
On both sides. Flawless defense down the stretch of that half, and the execution offensively was like something out of a video clip. Yeah, just really well done. And I think that you go into the half in those locker rooms. Kenny Blakeney he's going to tell his guys, we're playing again tomorrow. One game is part of the tapestry of your season. It's not the be all and end all. We're going to get better, and perhaps they can win, perhaps they can't. But the whole point is to keep playing.
Look at those first half stats, and again, if you're Howard, the turnovers, that's been an issue for Howard.
That's it. You know what? You don't have to split the atom here. This is not rocket science. You look at what's gone on here. The rebound, that rebound actually, that's inverted. That should be Belmont 23 and Howard 15, and that's a big part of the way that win in the half is between the rebounds, the turnovers. It seemed like all the little things went Belmont's way.
And again, I know some old coaches have told me those live ball turnovers, such a killer, and Howard had a few of those in a row. It seemed like it really helped Belmont kind of pull this one away.
Yeah, and it seems like in almost in any case, the really good teams make you pay for those live ball turnovers.
Yeah, so again, it was Howard trailing in the first half. We'll see what they can do in the second half as Belmont has the big lead. Welcome back to our nation's capital. We're now joined by Cal White, the Commissioner of Sports, Parks, and Recreation for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Cal, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Cal, of course, you're a guy who has been with this event for 15 years. Can you talk about maybe the growth of where this has started and where it's gotten to?
Yeah, I think the first year we started off with about 4 teams, and it's grown into 16 now. This tournament it means a lot to the people of the Virgin Islands. We look forward to the Paradise Jam tournament. We know that Thanksgiving is a time when you want to spend with family, and that's what this tournament brings out for the people of the Virgin Islands.
Cal, it has to make you feel good that the tournament has grown to a point where you can weather this road bump, and hopefully that's what this is a kind of a one-off. You already got some momentum going into next year's tournament?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it's a little unfortunate that the tournament had to relocate this year, but we're happy that we can continue this tradition, and we look forward to this tournament just getting bigger and better every year.
Cal, what does this event do for the Virgin Islands?
Well, to be honest with you, the Paradise Jam tournament is the second leading most event in the territory that brings people to the Virgin Islands. The first one being Carnival. So it's very, very significant. Like I said, it's a time when all the people of the Virgin Islands look forward to coming out and seeing some live, competitive Division I basketball. So it's dear to our heart. It is the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam tournament. So although it's not there this year, our hearts are still traveling with it.
And this has to be a labor of love for you. You look like you should still be playing, Cal. You got any eligibility?
Well, no, I don't. I played my college ball at Southeast Missouri University, played 4 years overseas. So, being the commissioner of Sports, Park, and Recreation, this is something that I love to do. I tell people all the time, it's not a job for me, because when you do something you love, it's not a job. But, this tournament is kind of what we measure as the barometer for sports tourism in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The governor sent me out here to represent the territory and himself, and we're looking forward to have some great, great basketball.
Cal White, the Commissioner of Sports, Parks, and Recreation for the U.S. Virgin Islands, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Cal White, again, such a big part of this tournament that they hope to have back down in the Virgin Islands this time next year. As of right now, Belmont liking the DC venue just fine as Howard gets a bucket to start the second half. Will Robinson with a sweet jumper.
And as that bucket goes in, the Howard bench erupts. I like the energy over there. You got to stay positive. It's a long game and a long season.
The starting lineup back out there. That shot up and good for Mazinski.
It's another layup, too, for Belmont.
Now Maker answers back. Maker out there with Settle, Green, Foster out there as well, and Robinson.
Trying to lob over Maker. That's hard to do, and they got it. It's hard to lob over a guy with that length. Mazinski doing a good job sealing him off with that lower body.
And Mazinski, obviously not as tall as Maker, but he's a little more physically built, as you'd expect from a senior. So Wood picks up the foul. That's going to be his third. And again, Wood had that fantastic start. 10 points.
And the Wood start, I think, was very important, because, again, you get a lot of guys who are sending the roles and responsibilities that a week ago they hadn't expected. Great block by Mazinski on Maker.
Crafty little play there by Smith to knock it off Robinson.
And Murphy gives you minutes at pretty much every guard spot.
Does a little bit of everything.
Sure does.
Smith, thought about the three, now takes it to the foul line. Jumper, good. Luke Smith, the junior DC transfer out of Knoxville, Tennessee, knocking him down here in our nation's capital.
Boy, it looks like he's played, 50 games in the uniform here. Just an easy assimilation into the offense and defense for him.
That's off the mark. And Murphy tracks it down, up ahead to Smith. Nothing there, so we'll bring it back out. Bellinger pulls up just inside the paint, can't get it to go. Mazinski's there, goes off his hand. He can't get it to drop.
Lost it on the way up. That's an easy deuce.
Maker has it stripped by Smith.
Smith is everywhere. The littlest guy on the court.
So much energy. Mizinski lines up a three, doesn't fall. Pass back out though, offensive board by Hollander. Now turn away.
Some fatigue out there from Howard.
Settle, count it.
It's gotta feel good for him. He has struggled in this game. That first half was not pretty.
Bellinger for the answer, no good. Mizinski gets the board. And has it fouled on the way up. So he'll go to the line for two as he just stood there and went over the top of Robinson.
Yeah, it's not great communication there. They sent Maker out to cover the shooter in the corner, and it looked like Robinson stayed at home in the post for some reason and found himself matched up on Mizinski. Obviously, it should have been the other way around. And one of the things questions you have about your team this time of year is conditioning. And, you see a lot of these guys, Casey Alexander, for instance, from Belmont was telling us that his team has spent more days in quarantine than they have at practice. And so you look at these guys, for instance, Maker now goes to the sideline. You look at these guys, they are visibly gassed getting up and down the court right now, and which is why you see such the substitution patterns being what they are. You have no choice.
It's an added hurdle to the season this year as Mizinski knocks that one down.
But it's a hurdle also that everybody has to deal with. I mean, that's across the board in college basketball right now, and it's it's everybody has to deal with it, figure it out.
These guys making their way through. They all love to play, and not a sacrifice for this season. Green with the three. That's off the mark. As Porter tried to keep it alive, couldn't do it. Like Smith was looking for some action there, it never came.
Yep.
Jackie Bisek off the mark. Strong rebound by Timmons.
They haven't even shot the three well in this game, and yet they're still on a pace for 90 plus.
Shot in the lane, it goes down.
Foster, that's a tough move in traffic.
Foster from Hampton, Virginia, out of Bethel High School. Of course, that sounds familiar, the alma mater of Allen Iverson. On the block, and it'll be an offensive foul as Evan Braun's got a little too strong for his own good.
Yeah, that's a move out of the Fred Flintstone playbook right there. Elbow down caveman style, and Howard defender took one for the club.
A strong move to give it up by Foster. Smith leaves for Belmont. 8 points for him so far. Mizinski's got 13. Wood with 10. Maker, 9-point total for Howard with 9.
Well, the Mizinski number is impressive to me because he struggled early. He really, the length of Maker seemed to be a problem for him.
That three's off the mark for Foster. Touch pass. Wood finishes.
Skilled players. That's a really nice touch pass. Guys got out on the court and all made the right choices.
Nice move into the paint, and Forster finishes with a finger roll.
Boy, got to get back on D.
And that will be put up and in by Grayson Murphy. Again, just does a little bit of everything.
Well, one of the things he does a lot of is rebounding. For a guard, he puts up enormous numbers.
Almost 7.5 last season. Off the mark, Wood with the board. You almost wonder now, Chris, that with Smith aboard, will Murphy kind of get that little extra kick in the butt to knock it up a notch as he knocks down the three. Got another young guy, a little guy, making his mark out there. But Murphy answering back with the long-range three. Belmont breaking the 60-point mark with a big lead in D.C. on Howard.
Loud. Turn on post-game mode for laid-back listening with uninterrupted radio on Pandora.
Makur Maker and the Howard Bison trying to find a way to get back into this game as Belmont has really been dominant on the boards, Chris. 32-18 for the Bruins so far in this game.
Yeah, that's one of a couple of surprising stats. That one also, if you told me that Belmont would be 4 of 20 from the three-point line at this point in time, and I wouldn't have guessed they'd be up by 24.
They've just gone to work, and that went out of bounds off of Howard. That'll take us to another quick timeout as we will again break in DC. We're going to stay in on this one as Belmont with the 62-38 lead on Howard.
You know, back to that stat, Jeremy, the three-point shooting. Belmont, the Bruins don't live and die with it. They're just good at it, you know. And as a result, when it's not going their way, they really get the ball swung. They play as one. It's just a really nice team concept, and that's been ingrained in this program. Rick Byrd was a legendary coach before Casey Alexander. Look at this ball movement. Swing it all the way around, find the open three-point, and that was a big three-point shot early in this game. I think what stuns a lot of people is just how good they are defensively. Again, it's a team game on both sides. So the right choice is to kick ahead, make the extra pass. A tough finish in the paint. Another kick ahead. They get the ball out of their hands on the break.
Talking to Casey Alexander, he said, look, obviously I've got my own spin on things, but I'd be a fool to come in and really mess with a lot of what Coach Byrd did. It was so great. So again, it's that same thing. It's share the basketball, play smart ball, and obviously it's been successful today.
Well, they're good friends. They play a lot of golf together, and Casey Alexander was an assistant for Coach Byrd for a time. And, you'd be foolish, right, to mess with that recipe for sure. They do such a good job on both ends. And I thought, conversely, when Howard got in trouble in the first half, we just watched a highlight package of Howard making the extra pass. There were probably 3 dribbles that we saw in that whole highlight package. I thought when Howard really got in trouble in the first half is when they were pounding it, when they were trying to do a lot off the drive, and those things led to turnovers. The ball didn't swing, it stuck a little bit too much, and and part of that is you get the collective experience of the Belmont guys. They've got, they've got third-year sophomores and fourth-year juniors, and they've got some guys, who've been around the block a little bit.
And that's why Jacoby Wood is such a rarity for Belmont as a freshman who stepped right in and played.
Well, he's doing it because of the guys who are at home and couldn't make the trip. So credit Jacoby Wood. Because a lot of guys shy away from it. You talk about seizing the day, seizing the opportunity. Good for him.
It'll be interesting to see if this run up here in D.C. gets him a little extra run through the rest of the season. You would have to think, again, it's an opportunity program.
How could it not? Yep. Plays multiple spots. I think a lot of times guys get hung up on who's the one, who's the two. If he's a player, he's a player.
With Belmont looking to build on that lead. And Jackie Bisek will help bring it up against that Howard pressure. And last year, Belmont won the OVC, the championship, as Maker picks up the foul, but obviously didn't get a chance to go to the tournament because of the pandemic.
They beat a good Murray State team on some late free throws, and they lost their leading scorer. Adam Kunkel transferred to Xavier, so they've had to weather things here.
That's the point now where Belmont getting as Smith down the lane. He'll be fouled and will shoot 2. But, Chris, that program has got so much name brand recognition now. They're starting to pick up those guys who might be, looking to go down a level or come up a level in Smith's case.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, too. And they've got a great reputation regionally, too. And, that Obviously, they're located in Nashville. If you drew a large circle outside of Nashville, a couple 100 miles, you get a lot of areas that you can really recruit from, guys. Some very good players through that area.
Smith can't knock it down, but the rebound pulled in by Jack Kubisek. Now Wood kicks it back over. Jack Kubisek for three and gets the bounce.
Getting multiple opportunities. It's just the rebounding has crushed Howard.
33-18, the Belmont advantage, and now Saban and Maker get tied up, and they're going to call that on Saban.
It's like Saban got hit across the chops there a little bit. Maker just jostling for position. He's got a 4, 5, 6 inch advantage size-wise.
Maker's got 9. A lot of those came early, and it'll be stolen away. Here's Murphy, takes it in for the layup.
How solid is his game?
Murphy now with 12. So after we saw really early on Murphy and Muzinski struggle a little bit from the field, they've come away, and that's what good players do. They find a way to score.
Well, I mean, even when he's not scoring, he's impacting the game. And defensively, he's a pit bull, and he rebounds like a man.
Jack Kubisek, that's off the mark. Maker slaps it, and I believe they're going to say that stays down here. They do. Jack Kubisek, an interesting story. He had 2 sisters who played Division I basketball. One at Indiana, one at St. Louis.
Some hopes in that family, huh?
Almost fumbled away, but Saban able to gather it in and put it up for 2.
This margin also is going to allow Belmont and that staff over there to rest some of their key guys. So you're playing 3 games in 3 days. They're going to be playing some meaningful minutes.
Ali with a nice finish. Ali, a guy that they want to definitely get some time for. Comes into the season the backup behind Robinson. 3-pointer by Bellinger off the mark. Ali down the lane, and they will call the foul on Belmont. Goes on Smith.
This is when you treat these games, if you're Kenny Blakeney, this is all of a sudden your lab. Realistically, I mean, you're down in a big way. You're down almost 30 points. You want to work on combinations. You want to work on concepts. You want to work on things that maybe you hadn't really been given a whole lot of thought to. Again, all they've been able to do is do inter-squad scrimmages. I haven't played anybody on the outside. You got 9 new players. You got to tinker, and I'm sure it's one of those things that for a fan and for a fan base, it's frustrating to see these numbers. The score like this, but this is when you grow. It's kind of that old failures can be fertilizer sometimes. You got to figure that out.
So Ali adds 2 more to his total. Yeah, it feels like at the college level, not as much, but you'll see that sometimes where teams don't take advantage. This is like a live scrimmage, even if the game's out of reach. You can do things to make the team better, to see what your team can do.
And, considering how sterile the environment can be sometimes, it feels like a scrimmage too, but, I mean, it's kind of what you have to deal with now in this day and age. Every environment's just like this.
Foul takes us to the break. Belmont leading big in our nation's capital over Howard. Welcome back to the Walter Washington Convention Center, the DC Paradise Jam, presented by the U.S. Virgin Islands with Zane Hopi. Jen Ashby as well, part of the great crew putting this event on. And they're right now we're going through a few machinations here as we've been told that there wasn't a player in the book. So a technical foul is going to be shot here.
That would be on a Belmont player not in the book. It looks like. Well, we'll see. I'm not sure. Seems to be a little confusion out here, but it's the first game for everybody, you know? I actually checked that. That is a tech on Howard.
A Howard player not in the book. Again, we had the
officials appear to be a little
still talking about it.
Yeah.
First game for everybody, folks. There's Kenny Blakeney. And we talked to him, and I asked him, I said, you know, what did you take from Mike Krzyzewski and Morgan Wooten, two Hall of Fame coaches that you played for under in college and in high school? And he said, communicators. That's both of them. They're such good communicators.
Yep, and when he's coached at a lot of different spots. He's coached with a lot of good coaches. I think he was a shrewd hire by Howard. I think he's already impacted fundraising. Obviously, he's impacted recruiting. You know, in terms of being able to get Makur Maker, I mean, nobody's ever been able to pull something like that at an HBCU school. And the only issue that he has, I mean, the struggle is that now coaches are sort of locked on campus. They're not sort of locked on campus. They are locked on campus. And as a result, you can't take advantage of the traction of recruiting a five-star kid because you can't get out there and trumpet it. You know, sing it to the masses.
So there will not be a technical foul after the long discussion by the officials. And that was the thing. Though he did say that, I believe, there was a stat he gave us that Makur Maker had something like 1 million social media hits over all the different platforms. I don't know if it was right after he signed or whatever, but it was, you know, obviously not the traditional way of getting out there, but the message was getting out there.
Yeah, the problem is that, you know, if you're him, if you're Kenny, you want to be able to be in somebody's living room talking about this. And I agree with you, social media is a big part of the way you recruit, but it pales in comparison to being able to sell it yourself if you're Kenny Blakeney.
And that was one of the other issues was some of the games that they had lined up this year. They had to go by the wayside because of schedules changing due to COVID. Chances really get your program out there. And I know everyone talks about, TV. Well, it may not be as important. It is. Watching your team play on ESPN is a big deal.
Howard goes out there trying to run offense. Nice continuity to what they did. Unfortunately, a walk on a penetrating move by Settle. And it all goes for naught.
Now Howard will go with a little bit of pressure, and they can, obviously, a little bit deeper as Belmont went to without three key pieces back in Nashville. So Howard definitely has the numbers advantage today. Goes on Robinson. His second team foul.
Still a lot of chatter on that Howard bench. You know, I love to see it. These guys down big, but you got to keep working at it. Now they play a little zone here. This might be a good move. Looks like they're doing a good job switching off, guys. Shot clock's under 10 already.
Wood with the kick. Bellinger from the corner off the mark. And Settle pulls down the board. Weaver into the game for Howard, wearing number 13. Settle kicks it off. Looking for Maker down low, but the pass by Foster knocked out of bounds.
You know, one of the really invaluable things about this, if you get a chance to watch the tape, if you're Howard, is that like right now you see Makur Maker, you know, he's not getting enough touches. But is that because they're not looking for him or he's not working at it? And so film allows you to sort of diagnose that, what the issues are. And it may be a combination of the two.
Settle for 3 at the buzzer.
Yeah, I really like this game. He just struggled mightily in that first half. May have been nerves this first college game.
Wood looks to answer off the mark, and here's Maker with the board. See those handles. Get in against a pretty good defender in Murphy. Now the 3 from the corner goes as Weaver knocks it down and has a chance at a 4-point play.
Man, the last thing you want to do out there is foul a 3-point shooter, shooting a shot like that. Credit Weaver, he stayed on it. That's tough to do with a big fella. Hollander's a big man.
Weaver is another part of this career. Kenny Blakeney's done a really good job getting some of these guys from the big-time DC schools. A couple DeMatha guys, a couple Bishop McNamara.
Riverdale Baptist,
yes.
Yeah, good programs.
And that was key. And Blakeney said, look, you know, we got so much talent around here. We want to get some of it over at Howard, and he's done a good job of it.
Kind of a matchups 2-3 zone here for Howard.
Wood has the shot blocked by Settle.
Well, it looked like a foul, but nothing whistled.
Weaver kicks to the corner. 3-pointer is off the mark. Maker gets the board against Muzinski and puts it away.
Big time finish right there. Tough left-hander.
Foster couldn't hit the 3, but Maker was there.
I like what this change in defenses has done for Howard.
You said it, Chris. This is kind of your lab right now. Go ahead and see what you can do, but they leave a man open, and Hollander makes him pay.
Hollander from Murphy.
Drive to the bucket, and there's Smith once again, tying him up.
Great D. Great on-the-ball D, and they've done a better job than Howard has of negating straight-line drives. And it's so hard to do with the level of athlete in Division I basketball.
I'll tell you, Smith's the guy, as we mentioned before, could just walk around.
Yeah.
If they were on campus right now, walk around campus, say, what sport do you play?
Yeah, he's an accounting major, right? Yeah, he's a player.
He is definitely that. Wood down the lane, and he finishes tough.
Nice debut.
An offensive foul as Foster went with the spin, but Smith was there holding his position.
Pretty easy play to read right there. And even with that, it's another thing to have the courage to step in and take one for the club right there. Really nice job by Smith. I think Luke Smith, I think he has one turnover on his ledger, but for the most part, his play, much like Murphy, the play has been flawless.
Around 8 minutes, Smith with the 3, no good. Rebound pulled in for a second by Muzinski, had it taken away, and now another jump ball, this time back over to Howard. That'll take us to a timeout. Belmont still with a big advantage. Howard chipping away in our nation's capital. You ask what it takes to build a basketball venue like this in the Washington Convention Center. Well, this is it, folks. Such great work by DC Events.
Yeah, it is borderline unfair, Jeremy, to show that in time lapse like that, because these guys busted their tails to get it done. And it's a really cool little facility, right? Well, it's a small facility in an enormous, cavernous building. Job well done.
Really great job of them kind of pivoting and getting this one on. And then, of course, the late curveball. Northeastern having to drop out. Find a pretty suitable replacement in Queens. The D2 Power will see them next against George Mason. And there's Kyle Foster from range.
That's a great possession. Ball goes inside, not only gets kicked out, but it also gets swung. A lot of good choices made on that possession. Wide open 3 for Foster.
Foster now with 7. Right now, I expect Belmont going to burn it till they get themselves a good shot. Mizinski with a little elbow, not called. Misses. Now back out to Smith. Short on shot clock. Doesn't matter for number 3.
And that second shot opportunity created courtesy of Murphy and his work.
Ali, nice feed and a finish for Suffering.
I think Ali has played himself a pretty good game here off that bench.
Ali showing some good stuff in his time off the bench. And that's an easy one from Mizinski off the feed.
Again, it looks like fatigue is set in for Maker. And he looks like he's laboring a little bit too. I saw he was wrapping his thigh a bit earlier.
Maker has it blocked by Mizinski. There's Wood out in front and a deuce.
From Murphy.
Belmont just relentless right now. Shot up, and again it goes down for Foster.
Well, it's obviously a good sign for these guys. They're playing as much for tomorrow as they are right now for against Belmont. So trying to get better. And Maker did have his right thigh wrapped before the game, and right now it appears to be bothering him a little bit.
Smith down the lane and finishes anyway.
And one of the ways that manifests itself is there's no rim protection at all. He's not really elevating a whole lot on the defensive end. You'd think with that size, length, and timing. Oh, nice take.
Suffering, yep. Suffering's a guy that transfer from Lafayette, where they play some really good offense up there in the Patriot League for Lafayette under Fran O'Hanlon. But again, Kenny Blayton told us he can get anywhere he needs to get on the court.
Fran O'Hanlon, one of the real offensive wizards of college basketball that does not get enough love. Glad you gave him a shout out right there, Jeremy. Well done.
As my former gig with American University, my partner Dan Lang, we would marvel at their offense. Of course, sometimes the problem was their defense couldn't stand up to the offense too.
Yeah.
It was a shoot 'em out. Great Patriot League final between those two. I believe back in 2014, American had made it the year before, and they both were low seeds. It kind of first year they'd been actually upsets in the Patriot League. And it was always pretty much a 1 and 2, always make the final league. Not that year, and really a great game to decide NCAA berth. There's a guy looking for another NCAA berth as Smith knocks down the tray.
That has not taken him long to get assimilated into this Belmont program and lineup.
Ali with the answer.
Back to your point about that the Patriot League final. You kind of run hot and cold on the way the Patriot League does it with a higher seed getting the home games. It does ensure you an enormous crowd for the most part. Boy, it's just three-pointer after three-pointer. You take this, I'll take that.
And both these teams, their leagues play at sites.
Yep.
And it'll be saved in. A little bit of contact, knocked around. Could be an easy bucket for Howard. Nice save. Three-pointer up and off the mark. As Settle couldn't find the range. Three-pointer up. That one doesn't go for Weaver.
A lot of good looks.
Under 4 to play. Belmont salting this one away, but Howard's still playing tough. Knocked away, but right back. Murphy off to Smith. Three-pointer. Count it! And a timeout by Belmont.
That is a timeout as much to get other subs in as it is.
Big time for Belmont here in our nation's capital as they have the 92-65 lead on Howard. And again, it has been a show for the new guys for the Bruins so far in this one. Chris, we've got Smith with 20, Wood with 19, both in their first games in Belmont uniform.
Yeah, quite a coming out party for both those guys, no question. Heck of a Thanksgiving, but Grayson Murphy to me has been the guy. I mean, 14 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists. Now he's on that bench. We've seen the last of him, I would believe. But he has done a lot of damage to Howard on both ends.
Bellinger lines up the three, can't get it to go down. Rebound by Devin Richmond. Little Wayne Richardson into the game.
He's anything but
That is
little.
true. 6'10", 230. Off the mark, and Smith pulls down another board.
It should be noted as well that Howard's two best guards are not in this game. Wayne Bristol Jr. nursing a hip issue, and Nogel Eastern, transfer from Purdue, awaiting his paperwork from the NCAA about the waiver, perhaps, that he would be eligible to play this year for Howard.
And you have to wonder, I mean, in our call, you obviously got to see him up close in your work with Maryland at Eastern's defensive work. Would that kind of, as your leader on defense, just kind of pick everything up a few notches?
Well, honestly, he becomes your Grayson Murphy. Murphy not a great outside shooter necessarily, although he shot it well here. Eastern's not an outside shooter either, but he is a lockdown perimeter defender, as good as any I've ever seen, I think. Yeah, he just dominated the Big Ten backcourts defensively over the course of the past couple of years. He will be a huge impact player in the MEAC, without doubt.
Taken away by Howard. Settle. It's a nice defensive play. Got a lot of length. You mentioned it. He's kind of slight. He has those long arms. That three is up off the mark by Weaver. This is going to extend Belmont's winning streak. Jackie B set off the mark as Ali chases it down. Ali fouled from behind by Bellinger, so he'll shoot two. Yeah, back to that. They closed last season on a 12-game winning streak.
I mean, there's something to be said for developing a culture where you expect to win every time out, and it sounds pretty simple, and it sounds like, well, doesn't everybody try to win? Everybody tries to win, but not everybody expects to win all the time. Belmont has won 110 games in the last 4 years. That is, there are very few programs in the country that can match up to that, and in any conference. And boy, you have to respect the level that they continue to play at.
Now Settle takes the three. That's off the mark. Batted around. Nice fight. An and one chance for Richmond.
That's a battle in there on the glass.
Another timeout says they may empty off that bench. But here again, Chris, a nice strong play by Richmond on the replay.
Yeah, well done, and well done also for this time out here. Belmont, again, it's not these aren't just teaching moments if you're down and getting throttled. These are teaching moments if you're winning, and you really want to make sure that you're dotting I's and crossing T's. You can hear Coach from here. You want to make sure you're dotting I's and crossing T's as you close out games. All these things carry over, from game to game.
Here's the rest of the Paradise Jam schedule. Of course, our game ongoing, followed up at 8 Eastern by Queens and George Mason. Then it'll be Mason and Belmont tomorrow, and that might end up being the game of the tournament.
I would think so. George Mason has more athleticism and length than they've had in any time since Dave Paulson got there. Question is, are they going to be able to match up and slow down Belmont? The way Belmont has played offense here has been remarkable.
Like Belmont, Mason missing some key folks too. So we'll see how that all shakes out.
That's one thing that all four teams have in common here. Missing some key guys early in the season.
But I think all of them said this is about going out and playing. We're just we need to go play other people.
Casey Alexander said, it's funny, the one resounding quote to me was, we just need to play. And I think that speaks for everybody. How about this? Ball gets wedged up there. Second time we've seen it in this game. You can go 2 years without seeing it in college basketball.
And also on that, Saban taking another smack to the chops. His second of the game. Earlier, Maker got him.
Some guys are just elbow magnets. You know, they elbows find their way to them.
Minute to go in game one on this Thanksgiving, so glad you could be along with us as it'll be Ali knocking that one down, adding to his point total. Kick out. Saban will take the shot from distance. That's no good. Ali pushing that pace. Three-pointer up and good for Weaver.
And he and Weaver just finding each other here, doing a nice job playing together. Really diminutive guards.
What a game for Weaver. He now has 17 points. 14 points for Weaver.
Nice job off the bench.
Howard still applying pressure. Howard bench not happy with something the officials did there.
Howard foul called against Raheem Ali, his third. Team 7.
17 fouls. That
should be shooting. Yep, and they will.
The Bison are over the limit. EJ Benninger.
Day I watched Kenny Blakeney in practice, he told his guys, pulled out a quote I'd never heard before. He said, your definition is not for the definer, but for the defined. And his point was, he was telling his guys, you create your own destiny and own definition. Do not let anybody else define you. And I think that applies to this. You know, it wasn't the opening night you wanted by any stretch of the imagination, but that doesn't mean you can't come back here and drill somebody tomorrow. Win on Saturday, and all of a sudden, a 2-1 weekend feels a lot different than an 0-1 weekend. So we just have to keep playing.
Saban knocks it down, and right now this is a learning team. If you're Howard, I think obviously everybody has to be at this point. You're pointing toward what you hope is tournament basketball in March, and this team should be a lot better by then than it is right now as it gels.
Well, they continue to work on Maker on that Howard sideline too. The trainer paid a lot of attention to him over since he's come out of the game, and he was really ineffective here in the second half. You just wonder if it's a thigh, hamstring, something like that, but hopefully he'll get a chance to continue to play this weekend.
Blakeney not happy with that whistle at this point. Ready for this one to be done. Coming up next, there'll be Mason and Queens of North Carolina, as Wood adds on to his totals. Belmont put up near 100 points in their season opener.
Yeah.
Gotta like that if you're Casey Alexander.
Well, and the fact of the matter is they didn't really play well the first 4 or 5 minutes of this game. Very sluggish to start. Some of that was Howard's quickness and size.
Delay. Bellinger on it, and Wood will let it run out as Belmont opens their season with a win over Howard, 95-78. Bruins looking pretty good despite some depleted ranks, Chris.
Yeah, and I think there's something for both teams to take out of this. Obviously, Belmont just flawless, I think, for the most part, on both ends of the court, especially offensively.
Taking a break. We'll be right back to wrap this one up after this. Belmont a big winner here in D.C. Jeremy Huber, Chris Naki back with you. Taking a look at these second half highlights. And Chris, again, just a dominant performance by Belmont.
Yeah, it was a clinic on offense, and they did a nice job on defense. After the first couple of minutes, they found their rhythm on both ways, both ends. Muzinski did a couple of blocks on Maker down the stretch of the game, and that guy right there, Smith, was just outstanding. The guard play for Belmont really was the difference. I thought Howard had some guys play pretty well off the bench, but when you look at what Murphy and Smith did to control this game, I mean, that's just that's how they win.
Yeah, Wood as well. Those guards for Belmont were big today. There's Wood, and a big day with 21 points, and Smith again showing off. As we talked about, he's a D3 kid, but he's got the confidence of a D1.
Well, he got it going too. He found a rhythm in the second half. He ended up 3 of 6 from the three-point line. I believe the 3 he hit were all in a row. He got in a groove, found a rhythm. It's also pretty fearless for a guy, a 6-footer, going to the rim. He sort of finds the cracks and the crevices, and he, like the rest of his teammates, just a really good team defensive player.
Looking for the foul there, and you mentioned it again, just the confidence. Got the confidence there to come in and do some big things early on, and he did that today. Howard, again, they found a few things late in this game. That was important, I think, to get some positives going into tomorrow. Take a look at our stats in this one, and again, it was Belmont really taking it to Howard. The rebounding was huge.
That's the biggest part of this game. The rebounding, points off turnovers, I think, was a big part of that, especially during the runs. Anytime, if you told Howard and their coach Kenny Blakeney that Belmont would only be 5 of 26 from 3, I think he would have taken that in a heartbeat. But you live to play another day. Both these teams have a short turnaround. Come back in here and play tomorrow, and hope springs eternal. If you're Howard, you get a chance to get back on the beam.
Yeah, most definitely. As Howard will look to bounce back tomorrow, Belmont will look to take it to 2-0 in this event. Now time for our Mountain Dew play of the game, and here it is.
Textbook fast break. Right here, Smith, Murphy, Smith, and Muzinski with a finish. 3-on-2 break. Howard a little slow getting back, and again, turnovers turn to gold.
And our player of the game in this one for Belmont. Again, it's a guy we saw a lot of. It's just same play, but again, he's did so many good things. Smith for Belmont.
Yeah, let's give it to the accountant, right? I mean, he really did a fabulous job. And anybody who saw the movie The Accountant knows that guy was a killer. Then Luke Smith got it done on both ends. He was a thorn in the side defensively just as much as he was offensively.
Yeah, Luke Smith tonight with 20 points. 3 of 6 from the outside, had 3 steals as well. Again, first game after transferring up from Division III, and he looked like he belonged completely here.
Yeah, and I thought all these guys, Belmont guys, took advantage of the opportunities that, there were 3 critical players left at home by Casey Alexander and that Belmont staff, and the fellows who got the chance to fill those void really ascended, played well, and they got to be fired up heading into their game tomorrow.
So Belmont wins Game 1 here at the D.C. Paradise Jam presented by the U.S. Virgin Islands. Game 2, George Mason and Queens coming up at approximately 8 Eastern.